All right, good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing? Good to see you here. Excuse me. Hello, Mike, Cecilia, Alejandra, Lorena, Peggy. Good to have you here. Kelsey as well. Paul Trani, going to dive into getting started in Adobe XD. Again, sort of zero to hero. Is that a phrase that people use? I'm using it. But it's going to be good. I'm going to dive right into this, and I think it's going to be a fun project. And big thank you to Howard for the daily creative challenge that's going on right now. But in fact, it's a full week this week. As you can see, we have XD, and really it's UX, UI all week long. Just so you know, we do have a daily creative challenge. Starts at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, and then Erica Cotton, John Barrier. We have a number of guests. Camila Brito will be up as well. So all day, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific time. So hang out with us. So yes, hello. Where's everybody from? How's everybody doing? All right, how are you doing, guys? I'm here in beautiful Colorado, where it's kind of cloudy out. We're gonna hit 70 degrees by Wednesday. And then this weekend, it's going to snow. So that's kind of what's happening around here. So, yeah, let's get some coffee action going, shall we? Yeah. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm going to share my desktop, as you can see right here. Sleepy Monday, Kelsey. Are you in Denver? I want to give you a little cheers. Oh, that's as my coffee cup gets keyed out. But the goal today is to create designing a coffee app in Adobe XD, because we could all use some. And I think it's one of these simple experiences that you just want to make easy at the end of the day. And it's not always that easy. Peggy is from Seattle. Hopefully Seattle's having beautiful weather, doing great. Love it. You're an hour earlier than I am. And that's good to hear. All right, cool. And then we also Lima, Peru in the house, Miami Beach. Fantastic. Maybe you don't drink coffee, that's okay. Order tea. I'm really into the chai tea. But this, just so you know, so I have downloaded a couple apps. You can see right in here. And this is what I encourage you to do. Just like experiment with what's out there if you're planning on making anything, right? Just see how they execute. Sort of even ordering coffee. Like here's 4 different, and I even have a 5th. But I'm going to launch into this. And by the way, if you're ever curious as to how you do this, you could just use QuickTime Player. If you do new movie, all you do is you select from this drop down, and that's how you can display what's on your phone. You can display, of course, on your desktop, right? So that's what I'm doing right now. I'll kind of move that out of the way. I can kind of scroll through. This is what all of the apps like kind of require you to do. They want you to sign in. In fact, look at this. I see 3 sign in / join nows. Look at this. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. Geez, somebody's sounding a little desperate. Nicholas, want to welcome you. Paul Trani here, diving into Adobe XD and really UX and UI. The fundamentals is what I'm tackling right now. So good to have you here from Texas. So again, I feel like this seems like super needy. This is sort of like marketing 101 focus. So this businesses always make this mistake of telling you what they do as opposed to telling me what I want for using their product. Like I just want some coffee and I'm tired in the morning. So this selling line is what's going great for it, right? So far. But they desperately want me to join this Starbucks rewards situation. I can dive into cards. I still haven't signed in or joined any of those things. And then even we can dive into the drinks, which again, I don't know if you're into Starbucks. This is what it looks like. This is pretty straightforward. You get the idea. Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Jeff Hefe from Edmonton. You're just north of me. I've been to Edmonton. So you could see this is what I would expect kind of from the first screen. It's like, really let me dive into getting a cafe Americano and then customizing it and then adding that item. And when I get ready to pay, that's when they should, essentially, ask me to log in and everything. Thank you, Tom. The front page has already exhausted me. Tom, I felt the exact same way. So let's explore some others really fast. Again, this goes for every single app, right? Dunkin' Donuts. Fans of Dunkin' Donuts out there? I like Dunkin' Donuts. But then again, who doesn't like sugar? It's so much sugar. Let me turn this down a little bit. It's so much sugar in these. Again, I can't even. Here, let's go to maybe later. This is a little simpler because it allows me to focus my eye. I know this think primary, secondary, and tertiary focuses. Primary focus, this large one, good job. I get it. Order now, fantastic. Add, scan, and paste some other options down there, and then I can scroll. So I'm into it. Yeah, I'll order a $2 coffee, and then you got to select the location and do all that, okay? So that one's a little better. Caribou coffee. I'm going to show you my favorite here in a second, Tom and Mike and everyone. So this doesn't even do me any good. This is Caribou Coffee. They're out of Minneapolis, if I'm not mistaken. But you can see right in here, you got to log in before you can even order anything. So it's like you're not even selling me on the coffee and you're forcing me to log in. So you're already giving me a task. I'm kind of over it. I'm sorry. I don't mean to pick on these apps. Let me go to Phil's. Yeah, you knew it was coming, everyone. You knew it was coming. Phil's Coffee. It's San Francisco based. They're in San Francisco, LA, few other places, in fact, we can see. So check this out. First off, it knows that I've been here before because it gives me all these different orders that I've had before, right? So right in here, I had they're like, this is so smart, by the way. You hearing me, Gus? You hearing me, Tom and everyone? Ariana? So smart. First of all, I am already logged in, so credit to them. But they remember my last order. Because how many times do you really vary your coffee order? You don't vary it that much, right? But let's just kind of go from the top. This is your, start menu, but you have sort of this menu. And it'll tell you right up at the top, hey, you want to pick it up here at 9:15? Yeah, you could do that. You can order it from the app. And then we have the list. Very clean menu, right? It doesn't give me some ugly pictures because let's face it, coffee is brown. It's not, we could argue this. I don't think it has the most elegant interface, right? I know what coffee looks like. I don't know. I think it needs to be executed with some taste at the end of the day. But I like this. Like, this is dark chocolate, smoked nuts. This is what it tastes like, right? In fact, I would argue you could probably lead with those lines, right? But we'll kind of scroll through. We'll say, hey, we like the Philharmonic. We'll select it. Peggy, look at this. Check this out. All right, this is fantastic. Look at this. I love it when apps do this. Do you guys know of any other apps that do this? It acts like I'm right at the counter. It's like, hey, I'm Paul. Hey, I would like a large with medium cream, medium sugar, hot, right? I want to change that. I'll go, let's make it medium, soy milk and light sugar. Oh, they're killing it. I love this. Right? It's like I would speak it at the actual counter. And that's what I love. And you could add special instructions. You go, I'll take it. Right? I can't go through the whole process because I am not in San Francisco. But once you order it, we'll go through here. Say I'm going to get let's do one Philharmonic. One Philharmonic. I'll do an order and pay. I'm not going to click that button. But once I do, it actually gives me the barista, a picture of the barista who's actually making my coffee. And then it says, hey, your order's on its way, made by Andy, right? And it gives me their photo, which is fantastic. So when I walk in there, I actually see Andy, and typically it's waiting for me at the counter. So I think that's what's really cool. Kita, I'm way excited. Of course, I've also had like 2 cups of coffee, so that's also happening. But I'm seriously excited about like at least good design because I think I've covered a lot that's like, at varying levels of design, right? So how can we do this for our app and really for any app? And it's all about thinking through the process, of course, as a user. I think most of you should know this, but we easily lose sight of it, right? So here I am in Adobe XD, and thank you so much for joining me, Tom and Andrew and Kita and Peggy. Again, diving into creating in Adobe XD, and Let's kind of move me down a little bit. I might need some of that menu over there, but essentially, these are some of the screens that I've already captured. So I'll typically go through this process. How are other people doing this, right? Thank you, Jeff. You do have to create an account for it to remember your order. What I personally like is when apps... This seems a little interesting size that I have here. Let me just do this really fast. There we go. Let's do a splash. So you're right. They'll typically have a splash screen. Next to that will be sort of your main menu, right? But what some places do is they give you this like login screen. So it might like ask you to log in, which this isn't selling, like this doesn't sell me on the coffee. If you're forcing me to log in, what if I don't know if I even want your coffee yet, right? So again, this is kind of the flow that I'd want. I'd want splash, I'd want main menu, and then I'd want to eventually log in, kind of like that. Okay, and again, here's all my screenshots. I can see how they all did it, right? And it's nice, like these are gorgeous pictures. Like this is a great picture. This is a different app right here, by the way. This is, I'll separate this app. I forget what this one's called. It's called like Cups or something. But I love this idea of having one app that's really clean that will allow me to order from multiple coffee places. In fact, you can see it right here. Boop. Oh, maybe that is, oh, there we go, Cups, boop. This is the Cups app. So again, sell me on it. Ooh, this 20 below coffee opens tomorrow, you know, and you can pay from your phone. So again, just different ideas for executing this. So let's dive in. Let's take a sip of coffee, shall we? Or chai tea, or whatever. Do you know what it's, you know, chai actually means tea, and I'm forgetting what language, but the translation of chai actually means tea. So when you say chai tea, it's like you're kind of saying tea. I would like some tea. But it's one of the oldest drinks in the world is chai tea, and I absolutely love it. Thank you. Boom. Peggy nailed it. Let's ask them to log in after once they place their order, right? So yeah, again, Kelsey, I'm not sure what language. Definitely sort of in India somewhere, I'm sure is where chai could have originated. Persia, ooh, good. Currently Iran. All right, so let's kind of dive into this. I'm going to kind of just do a simple flow. So we could even type some of this out, right? We'll type in logo. And again, I want to design this. So this isn't just the wireframe. We'll do a logo with a splash screen, boom. Next screen, we'll have sort of item 1. And what are we asking here, right here? We're asking, zoop, get me excited as a user of this app. So get me excited, right? Get me excited about your products, right? That's what we're going for. So that's why we'll have, hey, show me all your exciting items right in here. So we'll have amazing coffee, spell it right, right? This is what I would do. Just like have amazing coffee. Maybe create a repeat grid really fast. Oh, thank you so much, Mana. Chai means tea in Persian. That is fascinating. Thank you so much for that. I absolutely love chai tea. I'm like totally into it right now. Although I don't know why when you go most places they make chai tea from like a mix, which I'm not crazy about. Might have to do with the steeping time. Oh, cha is tea in Portuguese. We're learning so much. Cha is tea in Chinese. Why is everybody so smart here? In Serbian, you're killing me. Wow. Tea is called chai in India. Thank you, Arun. Man, thank you so much. I'm getting some culture up in here. It's fantastic. All right, we'll turn off that border. We're going to have this be a color of sorts. And again, I'm probably introducing this way too soon, but right in here, this is where I'd start to have a couple lists. So this is what I would do. Start this right here. Zoop, zoop, zoop. I'm just adding some specialty coffee like that. And this is the idea. We always have this control point right here we can grab, which I think is really cool because what you need to do most of the time with text is resize it. So you have that control point, and we'll kind of get those two kind of lined up like that. Specialty coffee, that's my header. And then, you know, specialty one. You get the idea. Best place for good chai in Denver? That's a good question. I do know up the street from me is a place called Huckleberry, which is really good. They make really good coffee. They roast their own beans, which is why you'll find them in Whole Foods and different things. So yeah, I like there. Where else do I like in Denver? I don't know. There's Black Eye Coffee up the street from me. Thank you so much for joining me. We just started, by the way, Claire. So again, we're making a coffee app. I'm going to dive into this. I selected these two elements. I'm going to go right up here. You can see this upper right, repeat grid, click. And again, this is getting started, right? The whole idea is just making this really pretty simple for everybody. And then obviously it's going to tile all those all the way down or as far down as I want. And I can adjust the padding like I'm doing now, take that to 0. And by the way, all these are editable too. Can come in here, double click, and then move this over. And I do that a lot, by the way. I'll accidentally like maybe move the whole thing when I just meant to move this square. What you can do is right behind my head, you can see, we'll make that extra large. This little icon right here, this is my layers panel, right? So I can open up that layers panel. This layers panel will show me what's selected. So it's saying, hey, right now you have the whole repeat grid selected, okay? If I double click on that, I can see those two items. So this might be an interesting way to navigate through my content and make sure I have something selected, right? So again, right in here, I'm just kind of keeping an eye on this layers menu. Boop, boop, beep, boop. You gotta add your own sound effects. I'm lonely. I'm just lonely talking to myself here this morning. Thank you, Anel and Bob, for making me not look crazy, because I am talking to you guys. Ooh, green tea, fantastic. Let's do specialty drinks. Good call. Specialty drinks, done. Right, so I could take this whole element, I could duplicate it. I could hold down the shift key and the option key and drag that down. Because right down here, this is where I want coffee. This is going to be my next menu. Going further, right, we want to have a whole other set. You mentioned tea, let's do that. Tea, like that. Right, and then drag this down further. We can have, you know, other drinks. So maybe there's energy drinks or something like that. Right, so I've extended that down. This is a huge menu. I love being able to just get a snapshot of everything in one view, right? But I can select this artboard right here. And what I want to do is I want to make the size larger, right? And let me just do this really fast. We're going to have logo. We're going to go to specialty drinks. I'm going to click this preview button right up here. Boom, there we are, right? I'm going to click my my right arrow button. Boop, just like that, right? So I can kind of go back and forth. I haven't done any sort of any prototyping yet, but I can click through these different screens just by using my arrow keys. And I'm showing you that I just can't scroll. I can't scroll this yet. How you scroll it is you go back to that artboard, and for that artboard, you make the vertical height excuse me, the scrolling is set to vertical. And then it should just be the same height as the previous artboard. So basically you really don't have to do anything over here, but that's what's going on with these two. And then all we need to do is increase the height. I'm not going to do it numerically. I'm going to just grab the bottom and we change that artboard size down like that. Okay. Now when we preview, we go to the second page and now we can scroll through all this content. All right. Earl Grey in the house. I'm going to start listing out everybody's favorite drinks. Sounds great. Oh, we're going to get so much done today, and we're going to take a nap by 2 because we just had too much caffeine earlier in the day. So, Ariana, yes, you can. You can do that with the arrow keys as you can go through the different pages. By the way, since again, this is all about getting started, if I make this too complex, I've failed as a presenter. But I'm going to go up here to share. First of all, by the way, check this out. I'm going to save my file. Imagine that. It's just saved currently to my desktop, right? Called coffee. You get the idea. I hit share. I could share for review, for development. I can do a number of things. I'll just do share for review. And anyone with a link can view and add comments and do all that fun stuff. Create link. That's what's going to happen. It's pretty simple right now, but I'll publish this out and I can, post it wherever. But even when I do this and I view this link in the browser, zoop, here it is. Switch to beer. Ooh, Jeff, that's a great idea. Like, once you have this infrastructure down, there's like some restaurants that I went to a place actually in Portland, which is where they filmed one of the setups for Portlandia. I was at that same place. I can't remember what it was called, but it was a bar at night and a coffee shop during the day. All right, so you can see right in here, even though I haven't actually prototyped really anything in technically, I could use my arrow keys. So you don't have to build in the navigation to give somebody an idea of what the app's gonna look like, right? You got it. I can't remember the name of that place. They filmed an episode of Portlandia there, and I was like, wait, this is where they filmed that episode, which was awesome. Okay, so this is what I have. This is super boring. We have specialty drinks. I'm going to make this more exciting because this is all about designing, right? Sharing it with your developers. Perfectly, Manna. Fantastic. Good thoughts. Yes, exactly. Anupam, you're good. You're not, yeah, we'll get into that. And thank you so much for answering those questions. Okay, so, this is the kind of, boop. Let's bring this in, wait for it. I'm now in Illustrator. I'm going to have some graphics. I actually have an idea for let's get rid of some of this stuff. These are the potential sizes is what I can do visually making this content. Let's close that. So I have some assets. Don't worry about saving that. It's a lot of, there we go. There's my graphics. I am in Illustrator, and basically I have these different coffee icons that I can work with, which I think this is just fascinating because half the time I don't know what I'm ordering. We also have this logo, okay? So we have this Luna Organic Coffee. Do you like my logo? Oh, you know what? I don't like my logo because it is off a touch. Look at that. How dare I? How dare I? That's still off a touch. I gotta probably fix that, which is another story. All right, so this is my logo. I can do a number of things here, right? It's called logo. I can copy it. I can paste it. I actually don't know what is what, if it has white back there, but let's just come in here. Let's just replace that. I can paste it in from Illustrator. When I do that, it just makes a copy, right? So it's no longer going to be linked. I don't know if I want to do that. I can actually go to File and open CC Libraries. Since it's a Creative Cloud library, I can go to that specific library, and then I can grab this specific logo, and notice the difference is this little icon right here. Oh, thank you so much for answering all these different questions and everything. So yes, XD does designing, prototyping. I haven't even got into I haven't even grazed the surface since this is getting started. It's pretty exciting. There's too much to talk about almost. But yes, there are plugins that I want to talk about. So you can see the difference right in here. We have this one that's not Creative Cloud sort of connected, right? And this one that is. So let me just kind of come in here. I'll change the background for anything that's selected, right? I can change its properties off to the side in this properties panel. So as I start to adjust, you can see that there actually is white back there, right? So I can kind of determine whether I want that or not. But the cool thing is this is linked. I typically will go with this like linked graphic because it's going to give me more flexibility, okay? Because I can jump back into Illustrator, use Illustrator's tools, and change this if I want, which I do want to, right? This one, just so you know, when you do a copy and paste, if I double click on it, look, everything's grouped. Look, this is all, look, boom. Text comes through just fine, right? And the paths come through just fine as well. So when you do copy and paste, you can actually do a copy and paste back, and this is brand new. Paste it back in. It pastes in all the vectors. I think this was a ping file before, but it pastes in all those vectors. So I'm showing you kind of like the round tripping that you can do from Illustrator to XD. So let's just kind of do this. I'm back in here. I'm working on this logo, right? In fact, let's just go back to XD. Go to File, Open CC Libraries, right-click, Edit. I'm basically editing this file. What happens? It opens it up in Illustrator. So from there, I can make some changes. Just doing a quick something really fast because I want to be able to kind of see. There we go. I want to make all of these lines actually white. Bing. Kind of like that. Same thing for that. You know what? Let's eliminate it. That's about it. That's all I'm going to do right now. I've made those changes. I'll get rid of that layer. Right? Saving it. It's being saved. Going back in here. It shows that it's been an update because it will appear in the upper left. It says, hey, I'm the newest one. Right? And then when it's ready, it will sync and update, and there it is. So there's our updated graphic, okay? Just like that. Let's get some other imagery as well. In fact, what do I have? Yeah, that's a great question, Mike. I'm so glad we're on the same page because that's exactly what I'm going to do. 375, 667. Let's do this. Image. Let's do 375 tab 667. All right, you asked if it works the same for Photoshop, and it better. Otherwise, I shouldn't have brought it up. But we'll go in here. We'll grab some nice imagery, right? So I'm just kind of working on that splash screen, dropping in this image. Just kind of do a resize, kind of like that. And let's just make sure my image size is right. 72. 375, like that. Okay, there we go. We have a little hint of coffee there. I kind of like some of this floral look. It's all about organic, sun-roasted coffee is the idea. But having some hints of some things. So right down there. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Throw in a color overlay. Just some nice graphics, right? This is what I do as a designer, right? Just kind of slap some stuff in there. Give it the idea of this sun-kissed, solar-roasted coffee that's supposed to be extra special because it's made by the sun, right? Do something like, I don't know. I'm working on it. Like that. There we go. So here it is. This is my design in Photoshop. What I could do in Photoshop, I still have that same library open. I would typically, actually, you know what? This will be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Watch this. Check this out. I'm just going to go ahead and drop all of these. I'm going to select these 3 layers, and I'm going to drop that right in to that panel. And let's view by type. This is what I get, by the way, just to kind of point this out. Can you see that? Forget the shortcut keys for zooming that part. But it gives me this little thumbnail, this artwork 4. This is my background, BKG. D, right? So I dropped all of those in. If I double click on it, it actually gives me everything. So that's kind of what happens, just as an FYI. I'm going to try something else. I'm going to change my image canvas size to this same size right over here, because I want it to be perfectly square. I don't have to make it that way, but I could. And at least I'm going to make it a little bit more manageable. How about that? Okay, so maybe I'm just going to take this in about 1,000. I'm going to take this in at 2,000. Oh, about 1,000 there too. Let's do it. Boom, just like that. This is kind of more along the lines of what I want, right? Give me some flexibility, being able to move this around, but let's not go crazy, right? Let's do canvas size again. 600. Perfect. All right, so that's what I want. This is my background that I'm going to use. I'm going to go into XD, right? And what I want to do is I actually want to put it inside of a container. So I'll just draw out a rectangle. We have all our tools over here. Drawing out that rectangle, going to File, Open CC Libraries. Good call, JPEth. Doubling the image size for Retina displays is exactly what you should do. This is currently like almost resolution independent right now. Yes, Anupam, yes, Photoshop could maybe be redesigned and be made more aesthetic and less cluttered. Yeah, that's a constant challenge. How do you add features without adding a ton of clutter? And that's the big challenge, right? You have XD that is what? It's version, you know, it's not really version 17. You know, it's been out maybe 2 years. You know, if we were in the 2nd year of Photoshop, of course, it'd look similar to XD. So it's a constant balance of simplicity over complexity in functionality. Sending to back, something like that. So this is what I do. I double click, and then I can kind of move this around. I can kind of have this darker space right here if I want to, and do something like that. Again, just trying out different ideas. This is just the splash screen. It's supposed to be simple. You get the idea. So I do think by the way, Anupam, I love contextually how everything is, right? Look at how clean this menu is over off to the side, right? Over here. Yeah, there's nothing there. But only when I select, say for instance, the text, that's when I get all of those options, right? And then I can go through and I can kind of tab through. This is what I'm going to do right now. Boop. Come on. There we go. Okay. So I can kind of go through and tab through these different options right in here. We can do headline 1, for instance, right? Like that. And really, Luna, I got to check out this font, by the way, because I don't want to pick fonts just at random, which is exactly what I was doing. Right over here for this Luna font, I don't remember what that is, but it's a Acumen variable concept font. So I can come in here. I just got to make sure that's the same font. Specialty drinks like that. Typing in Acumen. Checking the time. Doing something like that. Bold. Right? I can decide that this is the potential look. Whoops. This is the potential look of my headings. Could just be something really clean. Personally, I'm going to go a different direction. I'm going to do some fun things. Let me know if you have questions. So many things I need to do. Okay, we're going to keep this really simple. We don't even have all of our content in. I typically want to put all the content in there and then worry about designing. And I'm already kind of showing you some design features. But right over here, if I go right down here at the bottom, that page over above my head right here, this is my assets panel. Clicking right there opens up these assets. And you know what I can do right here for this character? I can add this as a character style. Boom. And this can be my header. My H1, for instance, right? Just like that. So now when I go down here and select coffee, I can say, apply that right there, right? Scrolling down further, selecting this one, applying that, just like that, right? You get the idea. And then for this one, pop, there it is. I decide I want to change this later. I want to make it larger or something. I can do a right click. I can hit edit. And then right in here, this is where I'd maybe change the size. So we'll go 36. And we can see everything bump up in size, okay? Josephine, that's a great question. Where did I? My name is Paul. Nice to meet you, Josephine. Where I got the images, I actually used Adobe Stock. So out here, boom, I went to Adobe Stock, stock.adobe.com, and then just started downloading some images. What you can do there is coffee. Search for coffee, search for what you want. You could actually sync right in here. Like I really like this picture right over here. I can sync just a preview image right to this Luna, the same library. So clicking there, it's going to sync a preview right there. Same thing for these. There's a number of great ideas that I'm thinking of. Let's save a preview as well of these graphics right in there. It's going to save a preview. I could sort, by the way, because what I need to do next is I would like to get you some really nice visuals of some of that coffee. So right over here, I actually might want to do vectors, right? I want something really clean for coffee. And I want to get a lot of bang for my buck, too. Turns out that was pretty good. Oh, yeah. And again, this might be kind of fun. Save a preview, just like that. That's all I'm doing. Coming back in here. Where is it being synced to? Well, I'll show you. File, OpenCC libraries. Luna, that's the library that I was syncing it to, and you can see those different items. So I can grab this image and I can drop it right there, and it's going to propagate all the way down if I want to, right? Or I can drag out. I can make this different in some way. Maybe it is just a little icon off to the side like that. And maybe this is moved over and it is, a darker color, something like that. But I'm going to be working on this, by the way. Let's drop this one in there. Wait for it. There it is. Let's undo that. Let's go to my layers panel. Let's be very aware of what's happening, because I dropped this on a couple times, and that's why I'm glad everybody's joining me. You'll wonder what's happening, and that's when this layers panel comes in super handy, because I actually dropped in that coffee set. It's just hanging out behind there, right? So maybe I want to select it and delete it. That's not what I wanted, right? It's really, I don't even want that per se. But what I'm doing here is I'm working within this repeat grid. And that's what makes it sort of duplicate on down the line, as you can see, right? That's what's happening. That's a repeat grid. We'll change the color there. You can see what's happening. I want to take this image. I want to drop it right in there. And there we have it. Let's see if I could take this and resize it. Oh, I'm doing a number of crazy things. Command 2. Command 3 is probably my favorite command because it will allow me to zoom in on what's selected. And you can see how small that's getting. Selecting this. I want to do something like this. This is ultimately what I'm going for. It's just give me, this particular coffee and make sure everything else is masked out. You want to change this mask? That's another question. Double click on it. I drew this this square, this rectangle. I can take that and say, you know what, just mask out up to that part. Just like that. Oh, you missed a little bit? Not a problem. Double click. Double click inside of there. And be mindful, I'm inside of path 2. This is working as my mask. And let's trim it in a little bit more. And we can see what we did there, right? So this looks more along the lines of what I want to do. Let me know if you have questions. Yes, exactly, Anupam. Yes, good things do cost money. Yes, it's true. Unsplash. I could tell an unsplash image from like 1,000 miles away. And not to mention, I mean, if you're a photographer and you know you bought a $1,000 camera and you're a paid professional, it's going to show. And at the end of the day, you know, I guess, do you want to give away your content for free? Like, think about it, Anupam. You could be that person that is actually selling your photographs, your artwork, really anything through Adobe Stock. So I'd encourage you to do that. So, ooh, Velchko, are all the fonts on Adobe Cloud free to use? No, you don't need to pay for usage for your Creative Cloud fonts, right? Just so you know, right here, if you're a Creative Cloud member, you know, as a Creative Cloud member, you'll get, you know, the apps you paid for. Maybe you have Creative Cloud Complete and you get everything, but you also get file storage, a bunch of stuff. Here's fonts, and you can browse all of these. The big thing is you can now sync all of these fonts to your desktop. So all 14,000, however many we have now, these are all the ones that you can sync. So I could do Luna, for instance, and I can see all of the, I love slab serif, but you can see I'm sorting through all this. That's super fun. This one, I'm all about Beastly, sync, done. It'll appear in my desktop, and we'll see that in a second. Cool. Okay, we got our specialty drinks. Some fun stuff happening. Let's grab some more content. I could come in here. Specialty drinks. Who wants a special? Who would like a coffee? Hello, my name is Paul. I'm your barista today. Because secretly I want to be 2 other things aside from a designer. Is I want to be a barista, and I want to make cocktails. That's what I want to do in my spare time. So, chai tea has been recommended. Somebody said green tea. Give me some, if anybody else has some, have some specialty coffee. What do you like? And I'll type that in. But mainly I'm showing you that obviously you can change each one of these. Right? That's another thing I would do. I'd probably add a subline right in here. Click. Spiced green tea with cardamom and cinnamon, you know, something like that. So again, I'm adding this line. I'm probably spelling this wrong. Am I spelling this wrong? Cardamom? I do not know. Oh, good. Let's get some suggestions rolling in here. I'm into it. We'll take this down to like 10. We'll change the color to just like a nice medium gray. And I do something like that. Right? You get the idea. All right. Chai tea. We got Thai tea. We'll do, this is Beta's Thai tea. There we go. And it could be coffee as well. We were doing coffee too. It's Josephine's matcha tea. Jeff's in a London fog tea. I'm just playing with you, Jeff. Oh, Simon's M-A-L-A Malai tea. Fascinating. Lots of teas. I could use mochaccino. So I'm gonna throw a mochaccino in there. Chino. There we go. Specialty drinks done. Right? Thank you. Cappuccino. So this is getting into maybe, could be kind of some of our standard drinks. So we have Americano. Americano is what it would be. And then we'd have our cappuccino. I also am being tested with my spelling. Oh, thank you, Claire. I spelled that. Cardamom is my favorite latte. Then we have flat white, which is, I guess, started in Australia. So a flat white, a round white. Just kidding there, but you get the idea. All right, we have some straightforward content in there. And really, what do I want to do? I want to take all this stuff and I want it to be what this is. I have some of this set up. Thank you so much, Mike. I think flat white is like the cool new coffee to have right now, right? But I'm gonna actually probably get rid of this, get rid of some of this content right down here. Yes, I get it, all of those. But I would spend more time working on this setup. And then from here, I would take this and duplicate it, right? And make our coffee with our Americana, just like that. By the way, this is cold coffee. Thank you, Simon. I got some cold coffee brewing like right upstairs, believe it or not. But this is UX and UI week, just so you know. We got some really cool designers that I'd like to give a shout out to. We have Erica Cottons coming in, John Barrier Wilson, Camila Brito, as well as Daily Creative Challenges all this week. So it's going to be a fun week, and that's what's happening, right? So it's UX UI all week long. Espresso, thank you. How am I missing that? Okay, but we get the idea. I'm going to kind of move on from here. Latte, espresso. Jeff, I hope it's okay that I called you Jeff's in a London fog tea. Hopefully that was okay. Flat white. Okay, we got what we want. This is good enough for now. We'll just duplicate this. Again, I'm just showing you how to make longer lists, and this would be the T, right? We get the idea, and that's how that's going to work. Super boring, right? We have this initial exciting screen. Matcha, M-A-T. Oh, thank you. Match tea. Matcha tea. No, that was correct, because what we do is we match the T to the person. So I did have it spelled correctly. Just kidding. Okay, so what do we want to do? We can go ahead and come in here. We can select a fill, right? And we can pick, say for instance, a color from this first picture to kind of give it a nice look, right? This might be an option, right? Another thing we could do, since we have a nice gradation, it's nice and smooth. What if we come in here and instead of using a fill, we actually change it from solid to a linear gradient, right? And now we have from that taupe down to this gray. Right, I'll change this gray right down here. I'm going to make it match that first picture. I'm never picking a color like at random, if you will. I'm picking color with a purpose. But maybe I want to do something like that. Boom. Right, I spent time on these colors, right? Now what do I want to do? I want to save this stuff, because also for this text right here, you know, I spent time on it, right? So we have our H1, and guess what? We have our H2. And you know what? We have our color right in here. Let's go ahead and add this color. Boom. Oop, I added all those colors accidentally, but this is super cool. Look at this. Anupam and Josephine, check this out. I had all of these colors, like a lot of things selected, and it will add them all at once, right? And this is the background, right? And this is going to be my highlight color, and this is my standard text color. I don't know, sort of like midtones, whatever, however you want to categorize this, right? But again, I can change that from one to the next, and it's going to be linked. So what do? I go over here to log in, apply it, done. Guess what? They're linked. I can highlight it on canvas. I can right click. I can edit it as well. And we can see as I change it, it's going to change it everywhere, right? Super cool being able to do this, as you can see. You want to be a user experience designer. Is it necessarily for you to learn? Yes. Because really, how would you, there's a bunch of ways to put this. Yes. I mean, it's kind of like if you're doing web design and you don't know how to code. It's kind of that similar to that. Or like you're an architect, but you don't know how walls are put together. you know, so yes, I would highly recommend doing that. I'm gonna do one better for you. Ready for this? We'll have a menu right up here. We'll do more than just this, by the way. Let's kind of grab maybe a rectangle. We'll go to our CC libraries. I got these from Creative Cloud. Let's grab this image right here, like that, right? And let's see what we can do with it. Let's see what we can do with it. Sending it to the back, taking it, and let's do a background. Let's try a background blur. Oh, not background blur. I want an object blur. So this is what I'm doing. You have different effects. So rather than just selecting this, I'm thinking this might be a cooler background so it's not so drab and just taupe-ish. I'm trying to evoke warmness is what I'm doing. But this might be another option, right? Do I go with this picture as a background? I can adjust the transparency. Maybe that'll give it a little bit of depth. Actually, it looks pretty good that way. But what I can also do is come right over here. Let's move this over like that. Checking the time. Whoa, I only have 5 minutes. I want to change this. I can blur the background, but I want to do an object blur. So rather than just adjusting the opacity, I can blur out the object, kind of like that. So it might be a combination of those two that I potentially do to get the look that I want, just to kind of focus on the content. I never want to distract from the content, but I also don't want it to look boring. You ready for this? I'm going to go hit play. We can see this preview. I can scroll through this content. Guess what? This all goes away. And guess what? The background is black. So many issues with this. Right? Selecting this. I want that background to have a fixed position when scrolling. Click, fixed position. Oh, great idea. Anita Lima. Nails it. Coffee beans. What a great little accent. What a great idea. I love it. I love that idea. Again, going in here, and now I have that background pinned, right? And now I can scroll through and then pick, right? So right here, what I do, let's just kind of change this to order. And just for the sake of time, I'm going to grab this, paste this in. Mochaccino. I'd like a large mochaccino. Let's do this. Let's do, since Josephine is still here, Josephine's tea with milk, with whole milk. And light sugar with all right. This is what I'm doing. Trying to do this in sentence form, as you can see, like that. Something like that. That's what I'm doing. Work with me. Work with me. Let's grab some images. Because I do have some cool like bean images right in here. But maybe at this point, this is the coffee. Wait for it. I'm sorry. I'm running out of time. I never have enough time. Why? Because you know what? You don't plan your time correctly, Paul. Just plan your time correctly. This wouldn't happen. No, but this is the process of designing, right? So we'll do matcha tea. So here's your tea image, right? I typically mask this out. Just absolutely perfect. So much I want to show you. Double click. Guess what? Here's your mask. Double click. Guess what? You could add points. Boom. Zoop. Zoop. Adding additional points where I need to make sure I get just this piece right here. Well, I want this to be not a Bezier point, just double click on it, right? So to Anupam's point, you don't need 5 different tools to add that type of, you know, a lot of capabilities these days. So there we have that. And again, I would probably I would work on how this looks. I get it. I know. I would work on it. So bear with me, everyone. I'm sorry, but I'm running out of time. It's my last couple minutes. Let's do something like that. I'm just doing this because I don't want to worry about masking out that. But this is how you'd order. And right on here, guess what? You'd add an underline. Wait for it. Boom. That's how you change from large to small. This is where you change your drink. Maybe you want a different drink entirely. With a lot, maybe you want a little bit of whole milk. Or maybe you want soy milk and light sugar. Just like that. Last thing we want to do is select all this. Let's do. Space that out. Maybe that's a little too much. There we go. There we go. Something like that, you get the idea. More time, I know. There's never enough time. But I like where this is going. I love the suggestions. Just like adding coffee beans in there and something else. Because again, we're still selling the coffee. We're still selling it at this point. So let's try to make this look as rich and as amazing as possible, right? Do we use those images or do we use real images, right? The problem with real images is they're going to show a certain amount of milk. Maybe you want a little milk, but it might not show accordingly. So that's why I kind of shied away from that, and I just went with something very, very straightforward, right? Again, but you get the idea how that works. And again, maybe that does go in there. Like so. So this is all getting started in Adobe XD with Paul Trani. Thank you so much for joining me. That's what an image would look like in case I wanted to do that. Maybe want to add this as a background. Might be another amazing idea suggested by I forgot who. I apologize. But so many good ideas for this. And typically what I'd do here is I'd duplicate it and I'd have maybe 2 different versions, right? And start to work on it that way. And this one maybe doesn't have it, but this is another option. So boom, there we are. Problem with this one is that we don't know if they're going to have, if it's going to be a coffee drink, so I might not need to put those coffee beans. This one has a little bit more flexibility. Oh yeah, thank you. Anna Brackett's in the house. What's up, Anna? So yes, thank you so much. I feel like I didn't get very far, but this is all the fundamentals of XD. This is designing in XD. This is what it comes down to, is sort of like making those decisions kind of on the fly and really not forgetting about sort of doing all your work on what works. Because what was I trying to emulate? My favorite coffee and my favorite app, quite frankly, right? Is something like this. Just kind of emulating that is all I was trying to do. So I'm just a big rip off of other people's work. No, not really. But you need to see what other work is out there to see how yours stacks up. And that's kind of where we ended up, something like this. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to be respectful of your time. I'm winding down. I'm going to be on Facebook Illustrator page today doing some actual design of something like this. So as we dive into actual graphic creation is what I'm going to be working on. Thank you, Keita. Thank you, Darren. It all happened live. And that's about it. So thank you, and thank you for your time. And let's not forget. Let's not forget about our friends that are coming in this week. As you can see, we have Erica and John and Camille. I hope you just hang out with me all day today, by the way. So check me out on Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff. It is at Paul Trani on Twitter. And I'll go live in a couple hours. And I'd love to see you out there. I'm just doing some design work and then applying that to maybe a user interface is the goal. But thank you so much for hanging out. And there's my little handle. Shameless self-promotion. I get it. All right, everybody. Have a beautiful day. Remember, be kind to one another. Drink lots of water if you're having that coffee, because it can be dehydrating, but it's a good thing. Thanks, so. See ya.